Hey guys, your buddy Platt here. Doing something a little different today. Not my normal content, so I asked for a little latitude before anybody kind of turns off the video. Had something recently just kind of hit me in the feels, as the kids would say, so I thought I'd do this video. A couple nights back, while in an altered state of consciousness, I watched the Lex Friedman podcast with Dana White on there, president of UFC. And Dana, they covered a whole wide range of topics. The UFC, Conor McGregor, his love of boxing, his relationship with Trump, what have you. And at the end of the podcast, though, he started talking about his relationship with Las Vegas. And want to pause that a little bit and talk about my relationship with Las Vegas. I started coming out here in the late 90s. I've always been in the bar restaurant business, and I used to come out for the old nightclub and bar show. First time I came out here, I stayed at Palace Station, and the last night of the trip, I won $1,200. Now, I'm in my mid-20s at the time. I'm making $23 grand a year plus bonus. $1,200 is a big deal. More importantly, it was the hook that they had in me to get me to coming back to Vegas, and I just instantly fell for Vegas. I was always planning my next trip, what have you. In the early 2000s, the poker boom hit. I started playing poker. If you knew me, I'm like from Texas, if you knew me back then, you knew that I was always talking about Vegas. And the movie Shawshank Redemption, the main character, Andy Dufresne, always talked about Zihuatanejo. That was kind of his dream place, and that's where he was going to live his life out in freedom. Las Vegas was my Zihuatanejo, and I always had the dream of moving out there and winning $1 million and dating cocktail waitresses and all that fun stuff. And finally, in the fall of 2006, I took that leap, and I moved out here. I'm a bartender by trade, so one of my early priorities was to get a bartending job in one of the casinos. Well, I quickly did that, and not only did I do that, but I got a job at one of them big fancy casinos on the Strip. So I was really doing it right. And if you get one of those jobs, and if you don't have a wife and 8 kids, mortgage, all that stuff, you make enough money to where you can finance fun. And in pursuit of fun, I did have. And along my adventures, I met a band of other merry men, and we pursued fun with great vigor. And just to point out that I'm, real, get on your little Google machines and look up PT's Pub Crawl. And there's a little article from the Las Vegas Sun. And I think if you check it out, you will realize that I have not been cheated in this town. And so over the years, I've had just a ton of adventures. Literally could write probably a couple of books on the zaniness. And I just fell all into Las Vegas. I couldn't go to sing karaoke at Ellis Island enough. I couldn't go to the Golden Steer enough or the Peppermill or what have you. I enjoyed this town. And things were cooking along pretty good until March 13th, 2020. And that is when I got laid off for COVID. They shut down the world. We were all there. We all saw it. And I remember thinking at the time, well, everybody take a couple weeks off. We do this. We go full speed out here. Take the time off and rest up. And then when we get back, well, let's go get them. I think those of you that lived out here at the time, especially if you worked on the Strip, realize that is not what happened. When we went back in June of 2020, especially those that's on the Strip, it felt like the powers that be in this town had decided, no, we've had too much success. The guests are a little too happy. Let's blow this thing up. And not to go on too much of a diatribe on that, but just it just was not the same. I know personally I had high rollers contact me. Platt, why are they doing this or that? And I'm like, I don't know. They're too busy screwing with their own employees for us to have time to figure out why they're screwing with you guys. And just kind of get out of my own pity party there. I ended up leaving the job that one time was the best job I ever had, and actually was kind of my dream job. And a lot of people lost too. By far I wasn't the only one. There was people losing all over town, people losing jobs and careers, and having to move away and losing businesses, and that leads to people losing friends and loved ones and doing drastic things, and just this town lost it. And and it wasn't just here, obviously. The world's gone nuts, and that's why all them folks from out west have to move here, and now you can't find affordable housing, and the traffic's nuts, and we got construction everywhere because the politicians have just decided to take care of all their buddies. And I don't like politics, but it feels like a bad SNL skit, but it's real. These people are real out here. And I think if you talk to a lot of the locals, especially you've been here around, it just does not feel the same. Things close that never reopen. There's casinos that never reopened after this, and businesses and things that used to be 24 hours are no longer 24 hours. And I think I'm with a lot of people. I can't figure out why, you know. And, you know, to quote a lyric from a song, you know, Vegas had lost that loving feeling, you know. And I think I speak for a lot of people on that. And just personally for me, I know I kind of reached the point, not recently, that I just like, maybe time to go. That we had a good run. We had fun. I can document it. We've had our fun. But maybe it's time to go. Maybe here in the future we'll talk about this time in the prior years in Vegas, like they used to talk about LA in the 70s or Detroit in the 50s. That maybe we just can't handle being Vegas anymore. And that's where we cut back to Dana White. And he's talking to Lex about his basically love affair with Las Vegas. One of the great lines he said was, he goes, "I don't know if this town was built for me or I was built for it." And man, that hit me. Because I, at one time, thought I was, that kind of scoundrel too. And but what really got me, though, was when he was talking about his drive on Summerlin Parkway. And if you live here, as the kids would say, if you know, you know. And I've made that drive plenty of times myself, and I know what he's talking about, that view where you see the entire strip, you see downtown, and at night it lights up, and it pulls you in. It's, in a weird way, it's unbelievably beautiful. And it reminded me of when I first moved to town. Now, I had my own kind of spot, and mine was kind of the opposite view. I used to love to go to the top floor of the parking garage at Green Valley Ranch. And if you ever go up there, look on the backside, and you see the same view, just the other way, and you just see the whole thing. And I remember when I'd get done playing poker at Green Valley Ranch, I'd kind of walk there and, kind of look at everything, kind of decompress. And I would just look at the strip, and I would just tingle with excitement. I just want to go down there and just charge right after it. And it just brought me back to what, I love about this town. And what, I used to tell people all the time that if they'd let me, I'd just go out in the middle of Vegas Boulevard and just roll around and let it wash over me. And in the idea that, and this is going to sound mean, but it's said very lovingly, but this town feels like the island of misfit toys. Just, you've got people from all over the world with all kinds of weird nuances and quirks and stuff, and some people gamble too much, and some people drink too much, and some people do other things too much, and what have you. And it's a weird, beautiful mix of people, and I used to, just absolutely love it. What really brought me to this town, though, and some people say, well, you just came to gamble or chase women or be overpaid for a bartender, and those were factors. I'd be lying to you, there weren't. But what brought me to this town was possibilities. At this town, and I know people say, well, New York and LA, and if you want to become a stockbroker or an actor, I get that. But what makes Vegas so great is the possibilities, not just in pursuing your career or whatever, but just your day-to-day possibilities. When you get up in the morning and go run errands in this town, there's a chance that you might run into Flavor Flav or Carrot Top or Mike Tyson. You might hit a Royal Flush at a gas station. You might get thrown out of a bingo hall. It's possible. I'm just saying. I can't confirm anything, but I'm just saying. And it's those possibilities. And I tell people all the time that, to me, Las Vegas is, whatever you think of America, good, bad, and different, take that, turn it up to 11. That is Las Vegas. And what brings people to America, I think, also brings people to Las Vegas. And it's beautiful, and it's weird, and you try to explain it to people, and it's not for everybody. You folks from the small towns back east of Warburg, not besmirching anyway, but don't try this at home. We're professionals out here, dang it. We know what we're doing. And if you come out here, and if you're not forced or transferred out here, you're not here to be the assistant to the regional manager kind of thing, but if you choose to come out here, and if you want to dive into the belly of the beast, this is your town. This is where we get the stuff done. And it takes a hardy soul to do that. And it hit me listening to Dana and knowing kind of his story. And I guess just kind of in summation to kind of wrap this up and kind of why I'm doing this video is Dana listened to me, and I guess I have to thank him for, I thank him for reminding me that I fucking love Las Vegas.